What is going on, YouTube? Zary's back here for the second part of the series where I go into explaining mid-game and some characters that are going to help you out to carry you through that mid-game and prepare you for the end game. So before we get into that, if this is the first time you guys are seeing any of my videos, please subscribe to the channel, leave me a like, comments, anything like that would be greatly appreciated. If you have not seen part 1, which focused on the order, there will be a card up in the right hand corner of the video. So if you didn't see the first part, we'll give you a rundown real quick on what we look at. These characters have to be farmable somewhere in the game, so characters like a Solius or a Tramcar will not be in the 5 characters that I will give you. Now you can farm Tramcar, but he is more endgame farm than a mid-game farm. So with that being said, they have to be farmable, they have to be readily farmable, and just a disclaimer, I could have gone the easy way and just told you to farm the orcs because they are an excellent mid-game team, but I'm trying to switch it up to kind of prepare you for that end game. So without further ado, let's get started. Now the tank I'm going to recommend that you start to farm is Salvador. Salvador is pride and he is a defender. Salvador is the true best tank in the game. The reason I'm going to recommend Salvador is, number one, he can taunt. His taunt ability, which we'll get into, does damage while he taunts. He has amazing health, fairly decent speed. He is readily farmable in clans, Rage of Clans 3.9 and Dawn of the Order 5.3. So let's get into his moveset. Now just a reminder, all moves that are discussed and stats given are for level 6 abilities. So the first move that we're going to talk about from Salvador is his Strike the 5th one. It deals 210% of the physical damage to an enemy, 40% chance to gain shield equal to 10% of his max health. Salvador's second move is called Come At Me, one at a time. It deals 400% physical damage to an enemy, and he gains taunt for 2 turns. Salvador's third move is called Steel Shell. Salvador gains a Steel Shell for 2 turns. Steel Shell decreases all damage taken by 90%. Salvador has a 50% chance to gain debuff immunity for 2 turns. Now Salvador also has a passive. Power of the Ancients gains physical armor, 35% physical armor, and an additional 5% for each living pride character in the party. So you can see there's many reasons why Salvador is going to be a good tank to carry you through that mid-game. When he is paired with Hera, he has exceptional synergy where she gives him a pre-taunt, and pride is not a bad faction early mid-game. So therein lies why Salvador is a good tank to carry you through for the clan side. Next up on our list is Mortha. She is the orc healer, part of the clan's faction obviously. The reason I chose her is simply because there's not a lot of healers for the clan side that are worth anything, and the orc faction, like I spoke of earlier, can carry you through. She is an early farm. She can be found on Dawn of the Order 3.12 and Rage of Clans 1.6. So you can farm her very early on, and she does bring some good things to the table, which we'll look at now. Mortha's first move is Ball Lightning. It deals 200% of the magic damage to an enemy with a 50% chance to deal damage through a shield. Mortha's second ability is Chain Healing. It heals the target allies by 400% of Mortha's magical damage. The chain heals the 2 lowest health allies and heal first ally by 300%, the second ally by 200%. of Mortha's magical damage. Mortha's third ability is called Personal Curse. It deals 280% of the magical damage to an enemy, gives a random ally shield equal to 280% of Mortha's magical damage. Now, Mortha also has a passive ability, which is called Shamanism. Mortha gains 10% magic damage increase for each living orc in the party. You can see the orc faction is a very strong member of the clans faction, but Mortha can be a plug-and-play healer in this clan's faction. The ability to regenerate people's shield, the fact that she does pretty decent damage on her basic, and the chain heal isn't as good as an AoE overall heal, but it is very useful, and she has some pretty decent speed once you start gearing her up a little bit. So the fact that she's constantly going with the ability to put back shield as like a faux second heal does help out quite a bit. Now for the first DPS on the list, I'm going with Chorim. Chorim is another orc, I know, but the reason he is on here is that he is so simply easy to farm. He was my first 7-star character. He can be found in the Dawn of Order 4-6, the Rage of Clans 5-3, the Invasions of Demons 1-6. He can be found in the Tower. And also you get 5 shards of him every day from completing your dailies. So the sheer power you're going to get from Chorim just by adding stars to him makes him have to be on this list. Plus his moveset is quite good, which we'll go over. Chorim's first ability is called Lava Boulder. It deals 200% of magic damage to an enemy, inflicts burning for 2 turns. Chorim's second ability is called Storm. He deals 190% of magic damage to all enemies and a 50% chance to stun for 1 turn while dealing damage. Chorim's third ability is called Spectral Beast. This deals 360% of the magic damage to an enemy. If the target is stunned and burning, all enemies will be dealt an additional 100% of magic damage. Chorim has a passive ability called Fealty. It adds 30% of Chorim's potency to Chorim's potency and an extra 5% for each living orc in the party. Now, as you can see, I chose Chorim simply for the fact that he is so easy to farm, and putting stars on a character, especially in mid-game, boosts their power so much. My big drawback about Chorim is that he is so dependent on his potency, and he barely has any at all. He really can't do a lot of damage unless they are dazed and burning, so you have to rely on like a Tramcar to daze them so you can burn them. And I've seen his mass stun everybody, and then I've seen it go 5 or 6 times without anybody. So he can be frustrating at times, but he does do good damage. The chance to stun is better than no chance to stun, so that is why I chose Chorim. Now, as the second DPS, I am going to suggest Kyra. Kyra is a demon fighter, ranger, bounty hunter. She is hands down one of the most annoying characters to fight in the arena. She does multiple things when we go over her kit, which make her infuriating to fight in the arena. The reason she is on here is to find her. Her nodes are late game. Dawn of Order 8-3 and Rage of Clans 8-9, but she can be farmed as soon as you join a guild at level 20 from the guild shop for 400 guild currency. So I don't have her as high because I focused on the orcs to get Soleus up, which I'm sure a lot of people did, but now I'm turning my attention to Kyra, and we're going to go over her kit right now. Kyra's first move is called the Arrow of Chaos. It deals 230% of physical damage to an enemy, a 50% chance to inflict ability block for 2 turns. Kyra's second ability here is called Hail of Arrows. It deals 240% of the physical damage to all enemies with a 30% chance to daze the enemy for 2 turns when dealing damage. Kyra's third ability, Go Dark, gains invisibility and applies it to all allied healers, tacticians, and fighters for 2 turns. Counterattacks to all allied tanks for 2 turns and restores 25% of the turn meter to their allies. If Venomate is on the battlefield, he receives haste for 2 turns. Now, she does have a passive called Sudden Attack. When Kyra is invisible, her attacks deal 30% more damage. If Venomate is in the party, he receives the same buff. Now, as you can see, it's her third ability, Go Dark, which makes Kyra completely annoying. If you do not burn her down and people load her with speed, I could see her being part of the arena meta for a long time. Pretty much I could see it coming down to the person with the fastest Kyra, I'm sorry, could take it. She does really good damage too. She's just an extremely annoying character, but a very, very good character to start farming early mid-game. Now for the leader slot, I have Rantha. She is a clan, orc, fighter, ranger, traveler, and a leader. And that is the reason why I have her on here for clans. Yes, you can say it's my third arc on a list that you said you weren't going to put orcs on, but once you hear her leadership, you will understand the versatility it brings to the clan faction, not just for orcs. Hera is a very easy farm. She can be found in the guild store as well. She is in Dawn of Order 3-3 and Rage of Clans 112. Rantha's first ability is called Furious Shot. It deals 240% of physical damage to an enemy, calls to assist Battle Poo if he is alive. Rantha's second ability is called Summon Beast. Summons Battle Poo with a taunt, 80% of Rantha's health, and 50% of her damage. Only one Battle Poo can be summoned at a time. Using this ability again will restore 50% of Battle Poo's health. This third ability is called Hunter's Volley. It shoots 8 arrows at enemies, each dealing 80% physical damage. Rantha's leadership ability is called the Might of Clans. All allies from the clans gain a 25% physical damage increase and a 25% magical damage increase. All allied orcs gain 5% lifesteal for each living orc in the party. All allied goblins gain 10% critical damage increase for each living goblin in the party, and all allies from the Pride gain a 5% tenacity increase for each living Pride character in the party. Now her passive is called Old Friend, and while Battle Poo is alive, Rantha's physical and magic armor is increased by 30%. After the description of the leader, this is why I have her as the leader for the clans faction. It covers everything but demons, specifically, but it does fall into that 25% physical damage and 25% damage increase because it's all allies from the clan. So she is a very versatile leader. She has a faux tank, which means you don't have to bring in a second tank when you use her. All around, just a very good leadership for the clan faction. Now for my honorable mention, I have Hera. Hera is a Pride tactician, warrior, and a leader. She is the second best leader for the clan faction. Now, if you're so gung-ho and you don't want to go with what people are going with orcs and etc., you could start farming Hera. Hera is readily available in the guild shop as well. She is in Dawn of Order 412, Clans, Rage of Clans 4-6, and Invasion of Demons 2-6. She is very farmable and she is a very good character. I'll go over her kit quickly just so you can kind of see what I'm dealing with. Her first ability here is Precision Strike. At level 6, it deals 250% of physical damage to an enemy. Hera gains the combo effect for 4 turns. This effect cannot be prevented or removed. Her second ability, Shred, deals 370% of physical damage to an enemy, removes all stacks of combo from Hera, and deals an additional 40% damage for each stack removed. Her third ability here is Oasis Shadows. Gains a dodge increase and a crit chance increase and applies both to one ally for 2 turns. All other allies gain invisibility for 2 turns. Her passive ability is called Cat's Stealth. If Hera doesn't take damage for a turn, she gains invisibility for 1 turn and recovers 30% turn meter at the end of her next turn. Leadership ability is called Submission Holds. All allies from the Pride gain 20% dodge. When the battle starts, all allied Pride tanks gain taunt for 2 turns. When the battle starts, all allied Pride healers and tacticians gain invisibility for 2 turns. When the battle starts, Pride fighters gain damage increase for 2 turns. So as you can see, she is more of a Pride-focused leader than a clans leader, which is why, again, I have Rantha over her as the leader that I suggest for the mid-game. Now, for the first of the 2 people that I believe you should continue to work on to help you towards the end game, number 1 has to be Tramcar. Tramcar is farmable out of Rage of Clans 7-9 and Invasions of Demons 4-9. As you can see, I'm not there yet, but as you continue to go, he is also the achievement reward characters, so you can continue to build him up and build him up and build him up. He is a great plug-and-play tank for the clan faction. He obviously is better just with an orc team, but he can be used because when you get his taunt ability to level 6, he can taunt on his first move, which applies counter chance, and he dazes on his basic. Everybody knows about Tramcar. I'm not going to go too in depth about him, but he is someone you should continue to work on to help you with the end game. And the second one is Raval. Raval is a clan Pride fighter, warrior, gladiator, and he does have a leadership ability, which really isn't that good, but he pairs great with Hera. So if you want to go Pride faction to run with clans, he would be great. The problem is he just isn't very easy to get. He can be found in Invasion of Demons 3-9 and Rage of Clans 7-6. He has a massive AoE damage. He needs bleed to maximize that damage. At level 6, his basic does inflict bleed for 2 turns. So he is dependent on bleed to maximize his damage, but he is a fantastic damage dealer paired underneath a Hera lead. Good luck. So everybody, there was my breakdown of the clans faction and why I chose them. For this breakdown of the clans is again from that mid-game range, which I consider to be 30, 35 through 60. Maybe even starting at 25, but right around 30. So what you want to do is you want to continue to focus on those people, the people you have that they give you early on, like an Adam or a Kagi, you know, maybe an old lore. You can drop those characters. You don't have to sink any more ability mats or materials or gear into those people. You can just continue to grow and learn. So that's what I got for everybody tonight. Just wanted to say thank you very much for watching the video. If you made it this far, I greatly appreciate it. Again, if you want to see more content from me, I have at least a video out every other day, if not every day, focusing primarily on Dragons Champions. So please subscribe, leave me a like, leave a comment down below if you think I hit or miss. So that's all I got for everybody tonight. Have a good night, be safe, and I'm out.